Hi, my name is Gaius Augustus, and I am a multimedia science communicator and a scientist. And I'm hoping that you're watching these videos so that you can learn a little bit about using Adobe Illustrator to make your own science communication pieces. I started doing art very early in my life and went to a fine arts magnet school for high school and then continued to university for film and television while also taking classes in graphic design, animation, and fine arts. And then I left and went into science, where I got my bachelor's and my PhD. Now, as you're learning Adobe Illustrator, there's two main things that I want you to keep in mind for all of the videos that you watch. The first is to ask questions. I typically am the type of person that says to learn through exploring, but Adobe Illustrator is one of those programs that has so many options and so many things that you can do that I just want to encourage you to feel free to ask questions. I don't know everything about Adobe Illustrator, and I've met professionals that I've worked with as well who learn new things about Adobe Illustrator every day. So don't be afraid to ask questions if you have them. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is that there are sometimes multiple ways to do things in Illustrator, and the best thing that you can do is to kind of think outside of the box, because sometimes you just need to really think of a creative way to do something in order to get it to work the way you want. So why don't you take a minute to open Adobe Illustrator? It's going to take a minute to load, and let's take a minute to just talk about what you'll see when you first open the program. So when you first open Adobe Illustrator, hopefully you see something like this. And what you have here are different options to create a new file based on one of their pre-made templates. You have recent files that you will be working on, so you'll fill up this list fast. But for now, let's just press Create New over here on the left. Now they give you a lot of options for starting off, and they give you a lot of pre-made templates to create mobile, web, print, and even film and video. And below these, you can actually download these templates and use them, and then edit them to learn more. But for today, I just want to get you the bare basics of Illustrator, so let's just focus on this top area right here. The first thing here is just a name for your project, and you can change this at any time. This is mainly so that when you save, it'll automatically create the file name as this, and there might be a couple other reasons that this is useful, but I sometimes do it just for the heck of it. And then you have the width and the height of your project that you're working on, and you can change the units here. So if you know you're going to be doing something for print, you might want to choose the right option for printing. Artboard is something we're going to get to later, but I want to point it out because this is going to be a way for you to draw multiple images on the same file. But again, don't get too hung up on the details. I just want to give you some exposure to the different parts of Adobe Illustrator. So let's press Create, and we will go ahead and open Adobe Illustrator. And before you dig into anything, let's talk about what you're seeing. And this looks like a lot, but I promise you it's not. So there are two things that I think you need to know before you ever get started. And the first is the fact that you have tools. So like any project you do and any creative pursuit, any science you do, you have tools that are part of your toolkit. And the tools in Adobe Illustrator come into just a few categories. There's tools to make objects. So these are making the parts of the design. There's tools to edit and change those objects that you've created. There's tools to change color. There's tools to create text. And then there's tools to move around your canvas. So zooming in and out or panning around. That's all I want you to know for right now for tools. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of a bunch of these tools that I'm pointing out here. But for now, that's what you need to know. The other thing I think you need to know is a word called panels. And these are things that add functionality and let you edit things to a further degree. So these are four of the panels that I use the most often. The color panel, which allows you to change the color of things. The pathfinder panel, which allows you to change objects, and I'll have a video specifically about that coming up. An align panel that allows you to line things up to each other or to your canvas. And then a panel that lets you deal with text. Now there's a lot of panels and you can get all of them in the window menu, which I'll show you in just a second. Now, if you're interested in getting this set of PowerPoints as a worksheet, feel free to go to the link in the description and check it out on my blog. So I've just gone back to Adobe Illustrator, which is the same way that I left it when you last saw it. And probably the first thing you'll notice is that my Illustrator looks different from yours. That's okay. There's a lot of customizability in Adobe Illustrator, and I want to encourage you to customize it to the way that you want it. And one of the easiest ways to customize is to use this drop down at the top. Based on what you're doing, you can create your own workspace, but there's also a lot of really good ones here that already have a lot of tools available. But I would take a minute when we first start drawing and just kind of play around with these different things and just notice how they're changing. And everything that shows up over here are the panels. Your tools are over on the left side, and just like you can customize your panels, you can customize your tools. And you do that by using these 3 dots down at the bottom. So I know that probably doesn't feel like a lot because you haven't actually drawn anything yet, but these are just the absolute bare basics of what you need to make you feel like you can make your way around Adobe Illustrator. In the next video, I'll show you the first and most flexible tool that I think that you can use, and we'll actually start drawing something. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to download the worksheet, and I will see you next time.